Hello, Momentum Makers. Welcome back to the Back to School Reset series that I have started a couple weeks ago. Last week, we talked about how to get the whole family involved in getting ready for school. And hopefully, you watched that video. If not, go back to that video and have that family meeting before school starts and talk about what can the family do to make this year a little bit different than last year. And this week, we are going to talk about the morning routine that can change everything. So, again, welcome to Momentum Makers. And I am Stacy Johnson, and I'm glad you're here. Mornings don't have to feel like a fire drill, right? The mornings I'm talking about, you know, you've already started thinking before your foot hits the floor, and you've already prepped your own self. But now you're like, get up, we're going to be late. Where are your shoes? Did you brush your teeth? Why isn't your backpack packed? And then somebody can't find something. Somebody doesn't like what's for breakfast. And you keep looking either at your watch or at the clock. Your voice gets louder. Then their attitude gets bigger. And suddenly everyone is walking out the door stressed. And mom, you're left thinking, it's not even 8 a.m. in the morning and I'm already exhausted. If that sounds familiar, this message is for you today because I don't think you need more complicated morning routine. I think you need to less you need less to manage in the morning. And so that's what we're going to be talking about is how to have this morning routine that can create a calmer routine for everyone. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so now so that you can have all the skills or all the notifications ready for all the upcoming videos. And remember, we're going live on Mondays at, double check my calendar here. We're going to go live on Mondays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's United States Eastern Time. And during that time, I'm going to provide Mindful Mondays. I'm going to provide tips that are live that you can do. One, you can join me on those live sessions, participate, comment, and we will, practice right then and there something that you can do in your own day to bring a little bit of calmness. So join me there. And if you're new to my channel, again, thank you for being here. I'm Stacy Johnson. I'm a resilience and momentum specialist, and I guide overwhelmed moms to stop surviving and start building aligned momentum toward a calmer, more connected, and abundant life. So welcome back to our Momentum Makers Back to School Reset series. And like I said, today we're going to talk about creating a morning routine that doesn't require mom to manage every single person and every single minute. Because the goal isn't a perfect morning. The goal is a family that knows how to create momentum together. But then also, something that I have started doing more now than I did when my kids were in school was I do my Heart Harbor technique. And September 9th, I'm going to do a 3-day workshop. And I'm going to give that workshop free to any of my subscribers or anybody that comments in the next 12 times from now until September 9th. You will receive that program for free. Usually it's valued at $2,222, but I'm going to give it to you for free if you comment 12 times. So you comment on any video from now until then. And that program is called Root, Rise, Receive. And that is a 3-day workshop where you will get rooted and you will rise above all of that overthinking, uh, all the worries that you may have, and you will receive that connection and be open to receiving more abundance in your life with that momentum moving forward. So here's what I want you to think about. How many decisions are being made in your house between the time everyone wakes up and the time everyone leaves? Think about it. What am I wearing? What's for breakfast? Where are my shoes? What am I taking for lunch? Where's my water bottle? Is my Chromebook charged? Where's my homework? What time do we have to leave? Do I have practice tonight? Who's picking me up from school? Mom, where's my mom? Did you? Mom, can you? How many times do you hear mom in the morning? Before you've even finished your first cup of coffee or your Diet Coke, your brain has processed dozens of decisions. That's part of mental load of motherhood. And when we're overloaded, our tolerance gets smaller. So the missing shoe isn't necessarily what makes you snap. It's the missing shoe plus the 37 things that your brain has already handled that morning. That's when we move from responding to reacting, right? And that's why changing your morning isn't just about organization. It's also about emotional regulation. Here's the first shift I want you to make. Stop trying to fix everything in the morning. Ask yourself, what decisions can we eliminate before we go to bed? And we talked about some of this last week in our family getting together meeting. So eliminate some of these things that you do in the morning and do them before everyone goes to bed. So maybe the clothes get picked out. Maybe the lunch gets prepared and packed that night before. The backpack is packed and put somewhere so that it's ready to walk out the door. The Chromebook is charged as soon as they get home from school. Sports equipment, it's washed and ready and put by the door. Shoes, everyone needs to find their shoes the night before. This doesn't have to take an hour. In fact, like I said, if you watched my last video, Build Family Momentum, I talked about creating a simple 10-minute family reset. Everyone spends 10 minutes preparing for the next day, and everyone participates. Even your youngest child can start participating. Maybe you give them two options for clothes, and then they can choose the one and have it ready to go. So even your youngest children can collect their shoes. They can, maybe they're not packing their lunch yet, but even the youngest children can do some of that preparing the night before for the next day. Because mom shouldn't be running around preparing everyone else's lives while everyone else gets to relax. That's not family momentum. That's mom carrying the entire mental load. Instead of creating a morning routine with 17 steps, I want you to create 3 anchors. An anchor is something that stays consistent even when everything else isn't perfect. Anchor one, a wake up time. Try to keep a wake up time relatively consistent. And here's something that can make a huge difference: build in a little margin. If you need every single minute to go perfectly in order to leave on time, you're already setting yourself up for stress. 5 or 10 minutes can change the entire emotional tone for your morning. And along with that wake up time, start trying to get your kids to wake up with their own alarms. You shouldn't have to be going to everybody's room and saying, wake up, wake up, wake up. If they learn to get used to their own alarm, then that takes off one thing from your plate as well. Anchor two, everyone has a job. Every person should know what they're responsible for. For younger kids, maybe that's getting dressed, eating breakfast, brushing teeth, grabbing backpack. And again, you can have a checklist, a morning checklist that kids can look at. Older kids should be taking on more responsibility. You know, again, setting their alarms, packing lunches, managing schoolwork, remembering sports equipment. We don't build confident kids by doing everything for them. We build confidence by gradually saying, I believe you're capable of handling this. That's accountability. And then anchor three, a connection moment. This one might surprise you, really. Create one moment of connection before everyone leaves. Maybe it's eating breakfast together. Maybe it's a hug. Maybe it's simply, I love you, have a great day. Because sometimes we get too focused on getting our kids out the door that we forget to actually connect with them. And your children shouldn't feel like another task you're trying to complete before 8 a.m. And stop being the family reminder system. So let's talk about that reminding for a minute. How many times do you say, brush your teeth, get your shoes, get your backpack? We're leaving in 10 minutes. We're leaving in 5 minutes. We're leaving right now. Does that sound familiar? This is your opportunity where you can comment. Let me know. Remember, commenting 12 times between now and September 9th. I think it was September 9th. Let me double check my calendar. Yes, September 9th is the day that I'm going to start my Root Rise Receive program, and you get it for free if you comment. So this is the perfect opportunity. What are you constantly reminding your kids to do that they could learn to remember to do themselves? Put that down there. For younger kids, create a visual checklist. For older children, let them use an alarm or a checklist, and then give them space to actually use it. I can remember when my kids are a little bit older now, um, and they're one of the first things they did when they got phones was that they learned how to use the alarm in it. And they had several alarms for the morning. You know, my daughter had an alarm for wake up. Then she had an alarm of like when she should be downstairs for breakfast, an alarm that kind of told her when she should be brushing her teeth because she used to like to watch TV in the morning while she ate breakfast, which we were fine with because she showed us that she could be responsible and get herself all done without us having to tell her 1,000 times to get off the TV or, you know. So then she'd have that alarm for brushing the teeth. And then she had an alarm that told her that she should be walking out the door for the bus. And then that took all the responsibility and reminders off of us. And it was her phone. She didn't have to get irritated with me reminding her all those reminders. because some kids are really just not morning kids. They don't want to be talked to. And all those reminders create that stress for them. And then that's when they get irritable as well. And it can be hard at first to have them do that because it is faster for us to just call their name and tell them. But if we always remind them, they don't have a reason to remember. Accountability means gradually transferring responsibility. And because I've seen my child now, she's an adult and she has just recently moved out of her house, out of my house. She's transferred all of that responsibility into being this responsible adult that gets to work on time every day. And some of that, goes back to what she learned growing up in regards to getting herself out the door and getting to work now, with a lunch packed, on time, all those things. So accountability means gradually transferring responsibility, not mom remembers my backpack, but my backpack is my responsibility. That one shift can remove so much tension from the mornings. And mom, you need your morning anchor too. We've talked a lot about the kids, but what about you? What are you doing during the first 5 minutes of your day? Are you immediately grabbing your phone, checking emails, checking the school app, looking for your calendar, thinking about work, doing the dishwasher, getting dinner prepped? All of these things are happening, and a lot of them are happening before your feet even hit the floor. You're thinking about work, you're looking at your calendar, you're looking at emails, you're looking at your phone, and that gets your brain already thinking about everything everyone needs. So try something different. Give yourself 5 minutes before you give yourself to everybody else. You don't need to elaborate a morning ritual, but just taking a few breaths, drink some water, stretch, say 3 things you're grateful for, maybe even step outside for a minute. In my Root Rise Receive, I will teach you my Heart Harbor technique. And that is something that I do now every morning. It's a non-negotiable for me. And it has made a huge difference in how my morning goes, actually, my whole day. But then asking ourselves, what needs my attention today? Not how am I going to get everything done? There's a difference in the way we say things to ourselves can create this different presence for ourselves. It creates, intention, aligned momentum. Sometimes our desire for a smooth morning turns into trying to control everyone. We need them to move faster. We need them to listen. We need them to cooperate. We need everything to go according to plan. And when it doesn't, our nervous system reacts. But remember, your child isn't giving you a hard time. Sometimes they're having a hard time as well. School transitions can create big emotions for our kids. Maybe your child is tired. Maybe they're worried about a test. Maybe they're worried about something that's happened with a friend. They don't know why they're feeling off. So instead of immediately saying, "Why aren't you ready?" try saying, "You seem like you're having a hard morning. What's going on?" Curiosity changes the tempo of the conversation. And it doesn't mean that the expectations disappear. You can still say, "We need to leave in 10 minutes, but you're creating connection before the correction. And that's how we move away from controlling outcomes and toward building resilience. Now, let's talk about reality because even when the best routines are set in place, someone may oversleep. Milk gets spilled. The dog throws up. Someone will suddenly remember they need a poster board. A shoe will disappear into whatever mysterious place children's shoes go. And your perfect morning routine, gone. And this is where I want you to remember the routine isn't the success. How your family responds when the routine doesn't work is the success. Take a breath. Ask, what's the next thing we need to do? Not why does this always happen? Not you're ruining the whole entire morning. What's our next step? That is resilience. And your kids are watching. They're learning that when life doesn't go according to plan, we don't have to spiral. We adjust, we recover, and we keep moving. That's momentum. So don't change your entire morning at first. Choose a couple things. Something you're going to move from morning to nighttime. Maybe also one responsibility you're going to give back to your child. Something that they're capable of managing that you're managing right now. And then remember, take a connection moment. You know, maybe it's a hug, maybe it's breakfast, maybe it's simply looking at your child before they leave and saying, I love you, have a great day. Then at the end of the week, get curious. Ask yourself, what worked this week? What didn't? Where are we still struggling? What can we adjust? We don't need to create a plan and then judge ourselves when it doesn't work perfectly. We gather the feedback, we adjust, and we keep moving. Momentum makers, your morning doesn't have to begin with yelling, rushing, and guilt. And you don't have to become the perfectly organized mom to change it. You simply need systems that support your family needs of requiring you to with you not managing everything. So remember, this is what we're building here in Momentum Makers. You don't have to do it alone. I would love for you to join me on Mondays during our live. Again, comment on the any video from now until September 9th and join me in Root Rise Receive. And you can also book a momentum call. The link is in the description. I would love to chat with you, see where, your challenges are. Let's have a discussion about that. We can audit your day and see where is some of the challenges that you're facing. And we will take a look at where you can start creating momentum. And remember, you don't need to change everything overnight. Start with one small step because small momentum creates big freedom. You can also grab my Calm and Reset guide. The link is down below as well. And that is also a start at looking at how to create more calm. There will be some other freebies coming up real soon as well. So keep your eye out for those. And until next week, when we come back, create that momentum. Choose one thing that you can do this week. See you next time.